let me take you to this. Now, what is the difference? What is the difference? This one comes from the Salt Lake City Tribune. Earlier this month, Glenn Beck rented several rooms in a downtown Salt Lake City hotel, the Grand America, to display independence through history. This accompanied his Man on the Moon rally. When was it a rally? Did you know that it was a rally? I didn't know it was a rally.
It was a huge rally.
A show.
Huge rally.
Which took place just a few miles away at the Rio Tinto Center. Which it wasn't at the
Rio Tinto Center.
No, it was.
I thought we went to the USANA.
Yeah, we did. But don't worry, it's only the local newspaper.
The Salt Lake Tribune, which is a piece of crap.
Okay, so the exhibition occupied 2 small rooms and brought together objects spanning 3 centuries. Early American currency was presented alongside 18th century Bibles, sculptures of simian slaves, and presidential memorabilia. Many of these items derive from the personal collection of David Barton, the publisher of Tea Party literature. There's no slant in this. The adjoining room contained objects from Glenn Beck's personal collection. This included a hooded KKK cape and a swastika banner, which had been used at Nuremberg.
That's not part
underneath.
That's not part of your personal collection.
No, it's not. Underneath wasn't. I mean, are you starting now?
No, I'm curious.
Start now on nitpicking on which is a true fact and which is not?
No, I think so. I think these are. I mean, any newspaper of any standard would run corrections saying that they didn't hold it at the building.
It would cause far too much. They don't have enough paper for the corrections. Because here's another one. We can count how many she's gotten wrong. Underneath was a copy of Mein Kampf signed by Adolf Hitler. That wasn't mine. A stack of love letters by Hermann Goering. Also not mine.
Couldn't even get right where we held Man in the Moon, which was so easy.
A satin handkerchief brown with Hitler's blood. That one is mine. It's not satin, and I don't know if it's Hitler's blood. Also, nearby was an early edition of Anne Frank. Lacking any deference to professional standards of display. I don't even know what that means. I mean, I don't even know what that means. What does that mean? Any standard of display. The exhibition offered no connection between those items and the early Americana nearby. Oh, yeah. Oh, here it is. Here it is, you little witch.
And you explained this, by the way, multiple times. So if she had any interest in actually knowing it, she could have done that.
Any interest, she would get onto her broomstick and she would fly over here, and I would explain it to her. If you had any interest, you could have watched the special that happened, just aired just a couple of days ago. What is the connection between all of the World War II history, early Americana? Well, what about the World War II history? And the KKK? Yeah, you know who the KKK came from? The KKK came from the South, but better yet, it came from a guy who was worshipped by Woodrow Wilson. The guy who started the KKK, worshipped by Woodrow Wilson. Oh, and by the way, the reason why that was in there is because we were talking about the Klan and a book called The Klansman. It was actually a play called The Klansman, which then later became D.W. Griffith's movie, which aired at the White House. But it's not that the movie aired at the White House under Woodrow Wilson. It was based on The Klansman, which was based on a book by Woodrow Wilson. We just wanted to make sure that everybody understood who Woodrow Wilson really was. We also really thought that it was important that we understand the good and the bad part of our history. And if you want to go into what does it possibly have to do, she's got all these swastikas here. It goes on to say, to start, I can't help but wondering what prompted Beck to collect such macabre objects. All you'd have to do is call me and I could explain it to you. It'd be an interesting article.
Or listen to the show once.
Include them among his personal belongings. What are the virtues of owning Goering's love letters? Well, I don't own them, so I wouldn't know. Hitler's signature. Oh, I can't imagine. I don't own it, but I can't imagine what owning a piece of history like that would actually mean. I mean, what are you saying? They only belong to museums? Is that it?
By the way, you were talking about this as a museum, right. This would qualify.
Or a few drops of his blood. Surely harboring such items adheres to a personality cult and sympathizer rather than critic.
A lot of Hitler sympathizers have won the Defender of Israel award from the ZOA. A lot of them have.
Yeah, a lot of them have. So here's the thing. She claims to be somebody whose parent was in the Holocaust, or I don't know. I've done as much homework on her as she has done on me. So I have no idea.
You read her article, so no, you've done more.
No, you're right. I've done more. I have actually done more. So I have no idea. And if that's true, I'm really sorry. What I'm trying to do is make sure we don't ever go down that road again. Now, if you would have actually been there or paid attention and would have come with an open mind, you would have seen right next to the KKK was then the Hitler stuff. And what was just to the right of the Hitler stuff? Oh, I remember the Japanese internment camps. And what was on with the Japanese internment camps? The little red Socialist Communist Party card from the U.S. So what do they have in common between Hitler and the internment camps? Socialism. The idea that the collective is more important than the individual. Now, if you'd like me to go deeper than that, I will, but I have a feeling you're not really interested in doing anything except smearing me and calling me a Nazi sympathizer.
Yeah, I went to the Man in the Moon at the Rio Tinto Center, and
a soccer game broke out because that's where the soccer team plays,
right.
And we weren't there.
Right? No,
okay? we weren't there.
I would demand a retraction.
What a moron.
I would demand a retraction, but the Salt Lake Tribune is so discredited in what they print every day. It's not even worth asking for a retraction. It's a joke of a newspaper. There are bad newspapers in the country. One of the worst newspapers in the country is the Salt Lake City Tribune. There has not been one story that has ever been printed about me in the Salt Lake Tribune. And I can't even say this. I can't say this about the New York Times. I can't say this about the Wall Street Journal. I can't say this about the Washington Post. I can't say this about newspapers who I have real disdain for. They at least get it right at least half the time. There isn't one story that has come out in the Salt Lake City Tribune that has gotten it right. Not one. Not one.
Yeah.
When
it's a rag. It was established as a rag. It's always been and always will be.
When you are so wrong, you can't even get the venue right.
Yeah.
When you're looking at a 70,000 person venue and nobody on the editorial staff caught that one, how are we expected to trust you on little facts? How we expect you to understand the subtlety of history?
Did they have any fact checker on this? I mean, the location was widely publicized. We wanted people to come.
I mean, no, we hid
we
that.
didn't try to keep that secret.
We hid that.
We really didn't.
That. But these are the people that are in charge. These are the people that actually are in charge of the history writing. Why do you think I want to keep history out of the hands of the universities? Why do you think I want to keep it out of the hands of the museums? Because they have an agenda. And if you don't believe they have an agenda, you must work for the Salt Lake City Tribune.